What's up? Alright, I was thinking I'm going to do a video on painting my surfboard from literally scratch, because I know a lot of you out there that want to paint a board. There's so many friction points, like cleaning the board, coming up with an idea to paint, what paint to use, when to do it. So yeah, I'm going to basically show you, there's a board that I've been wanting to paint for probably like a month now. I bought it off this one I bought brand new. Sometimes I buy them marketplace and I want to test them out for a couple of surfs to make sure they're the right board for me before I paint them. But this one I actually bought brand new from a surf store here in Manly in Sydney, Australia. And I put wax on it because I wanted to surf it straight away, and I ended up surfing it for a month straight without painting it because I myself, I have as many paint pens to my availability as possible, but I still struggle with finding time to, de-wax the board, clean it, prep it and paint it. But I've been holding this board under my arm for so long right now, and it just doesn't feel right having a board that's blank and it's got no character and feel about it. It just feels like the same board as, I don't know, everyone else, and it doesn't give it that kind of unique feel to it. And that's kind of how it really started. The Surf Paints journey is kind of giving it that kind of unique feel, which helps improve the experience. And fortunately now we're in all these cool art stores and schools are getting on board, and we found that the paint pens are actually really good for all surfaces. So it's not just surfboards, but yeah, I just thought I'd try something different. It's Sunday evening here, and it's a little bit overcast. I'm in my half study. I've got an office down the road, but I sometimes work about 50% from home in this little old building in Freshwater, New South Wales. But it used to be packed with boxes until we just started getting so many orders that we've now put it to a warehouse out in Western Sydney, kind of where Amazon is, and that's where our orders get shipped out because they can just do it so much quicker than us. When there's 100 orders a day, we can't do that. Well, I can't do that. I was doing that, and then I was getting someone to help me do it, and then but getting back on topic, let's fucking go. Let's do a full video from me going from sitting in my study going, I really need to paint my board on a Sunday evening, to the full journey. So I've got this kind of GoPro-y set up, something like this, which is gonna sit on my head, kind of. So I'm gonna have it like this. I'm gonna have the phone held like that, I think, because I'm gonna film it for YouTube, and then we can kind of clip it up for short form. That's kind of the idea here. So you're going to see a lot of content from that way. And then I've also got a chest strap for those that are YouTubers out there. I just bought this off Amazon. So this goes around your chest and you can just literally clip it on. I know it looks like a GoPro clip there, but they give you like extension things where you can just unclip this thing that holds your phone and put it to it. But it's like, I'll take you through the whole journey, but basically I really need to put color on my board. So I've got this old design that I loved, which was pink, black, and that was it. And I loved it. I might put a bit of blue in there because I love blue. So I'm going to show you this cool little trick that I use with the paint pens that spreads it out and looks like spray paint. Hell yeah, let's do it. Okay, I'm doing this as a bit of a test. or check it out. But this is a ironing board, which is like my go-to for painting surfboards, because it's such a good kind of stand for like painting boards without breaking your back, and it's a nice soft padding. So if you've got an ironing board, I'd recommend putting kind of, looks like it might rain in Sydney, but I'll do it outside, but I've got like this undercover area. But if you've got a nice ironing board where you do like your business shirts, you should put a cover over it, but this is designated to surfboard painting. Like you can see, that's wax. So let's just check to see if that worked well. I think it's coming. All right, let's go. Let's fucking go. All right, let's go. Okay, so my setup is quite messy, but this is the Piezel that we're gonna do. So first things first is, let's get those fins out. So I use like a mallet and I just go bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. Throw them in there. Go like, leg ropes, they are so annoying. So I got my Seaside for small fun days, foamy for my girlfriend, or me when it's really closey outy funny. And then my performance board at the moment is the Piezel Shadow. So first thing you want to do is take off everything, including your leash. I'm just going to check this is working. Okay, we're on. We are on. Okay. I think so. Sorry, I'm new to this. Okay, so we're getting our leg rope off. This one's an ocean and earth that's already integrated in the board. So you have to go boom. It's pretty cool. Bang. Alright, we've now got our board that's got wax and a few compressions on it, so we can just get this all sorted. Some old clothes that probably could go on the wash. I'll get them after the video. But that's it. So we've got our board. Close that up, lock that up. It looks like it's probably definitely gonna rain, so I might have to do this undercover. But yeah, so basically we've got, we need to get rid of this wax. So let me show you what we're gonna do. Okay, we're on. We can try this angle for a bit better. Alright, so I have some pens already in here, which are bang, bang, bang. These are kind of like what I use for when I want to, you know, like you need to have a supply where you can use for boards, otherwise you're just using brand new packets all the time for me. Hopefully you can see, so like this has got the cleaning materials and some spare pens to use, but if you buy it brand new, you'll get a box like this. You'll get steel wool, which is in recyclable packaging, and this stuff's amazing for cleaning. I'll show you in a second. Then you get like an inspiration booklet, which has some cool design ideas if you're struggling.
You get a discount code, so sneaky tip for those that want a discount. And then you get a sticker that you can put on your board or your fridge or your car, whatever. What else do we have? We have, this is a paint scraper, which is good for getting the wax off or any old stuff from any surfaces, not just surfboards, like wooden scrapings or aluminium that has some rough edges. This is good for scraping it all off before you start cleaning. Pencil and eraser, which is good to sketch out your designs beforehand. And then inside here we have foam brush for, I'll show you this technique later, which is really handy to spread the paint out. We have a scour pad, which is also very good for cleaning surfaces, not just surfboards, but anything that needs a rub down to get rid of grease and prepare it for the paint to make sure the paint has the best chance of adhering to it. And then we have a masking tape, which is fantastic for blocking out areas or doing stencils or anything that requires, like for surfing, you'd block out your rails if you didn't want your rails getting painted. But also you'll notice, like, you know, you might block out the logo, so you don't want that getting painted. So yeah, anyone that paints quite a lot realizes how important masking tape is, so that's why I included it. And it's also waterproof, which is fantastic for surfboards when you're going through applying like wet surfaces. And then we have a 240 grit sandpaper block. Now this is good to prepare the surface for most surfaces, because if you don't give them a sand beforehand, you've got a chance of the paint scraping off and not bonding into the pores. So yeah, this is going to really help with a lot of surfaces to make your paint stick better to the surface you chose. And in this case, we're going to do a surfboard, so I'll show you that in a second. So that's what you get in the starter kit. And then if you check online, and I actually got no packets on me, which is the first time ever, so it's a bit of a shame for this video. Is usually we stack packs of pens in here, so like, you know, you might choose primary and pastel and then you get that, or you choose all of them and you get it all up to here. But whatever pens you want, you can get in this kit. And this kit is fantastic for just having everything ready and then storing all your loose pens inside. You've also got these cool elastic bands which you can store, you know, you can store that kind of stuff, or it's even big enough for a paint pen to go in like that, or even good for smaller pens because of the elastic, it's going to hold it. So yeah, I thought that was a cool little design idea. But that's what you get in the starter kit. Great value, really tough and durable. I have these always in my car. Some people would say they go camping with them, but you know, they got this carried case that's really strong, durable, waterproof, and you can't go wrong with one of these. To be honest, they're our best seller. So you can choose if you want one pack or if you want all of the packets inside here. Yeah, these are easily our best seller, so check them out. But let's get into it. So the first thing I need to do is I need to de-wax this board. So in order to de-wax it, I'm going to check the footage to make sure I filmed well. All right, we are on. Okay, I've got the good angle. So I'm going to show you, the first thing we have to do is get the wax off. So this is when one of these paint scrapers comes in. So you can also use a wax comb if you want. Wax combs do a similar job. So use the sharp blade, not the blunt blade. You want to use this kind of chisel side. And then if you go like that, you'll see it starts taking off the wax. However, it's actually coming off really good. So this might work. Because it's overcast, usually you need a bit of sun, but I am super impressed with how this wax paint scraper is going. Wowee. So yeah, if you can do that, you're laughing. I did not think that was going to be as easy as it was, but that's come off perfect. Now, wax is quite annoying if it gets on the ground. Like, obviously we've got an older rental here, so it's not as important, but if you're in a nice place, you might want to put something down or something like that, but depends on what you want to do. So once you've done all this, you can, so I've done half the side, but I'm going to show you what happens. There's other techniques what we can use. I may as well show you while I'm doing a long YouTube edit, is you can use a kettle. So I boiled this just before, and this is a technique that you can use. I don't love it because, I mean, putting boiling water on fiberglass is not the best technique because it can melt your glass and it's quite fragile. But they do recommend if you make it lukewarm, so if you boil it and then add some cold water in, it can help. But I'm just going to show you for purposes, because it's my board, and a lot of you are probably wondering, if it's like a really cold day and you live somewhere where it's really hard and you're not getting this kind of momentum of wax coming off, which is really good. You don't really even need to do anything other than this, is you can apply a bit of hot water, and if you put a bit of hot water on there, the wax will melt and literally, yeah, look at that, scrapes off. So it's way better using hot water. Like, look at the difference of that. If you get it off quite quick as well, I mean, that's like pretty much, whoever that was, that's pretty much clean straight away, whereas this will never get it completely off. So yeah, it's up to you on if you think your board can handle some hot water. Like for older boards, you could probably do it, but like this is a pretty new board, so I don't feel comfortable putting hot water all over it because I want this board to last a long time. But you know, if you were painting an old board for art purposes and didn't really care, you could use hot water and then maybe mix it with some lukewarm water, to be honest, and that would probably reduce the risk of it melting the fiberglass. That's just a tip, but for now you can see I'm going to do this and I'll do a big cleanup after, because people that have their own homes are probably freaking out like my dad did when I used to paint all my boards and all the wax, because the wax can melt into the concrete. So your best bet is doing this is having like a drop sheet underneath it, which if I could take my time back and doing this YouTube video, I probably would have prepared a bit better. But like I said, this video is just, it came to me, I was like, fuck, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna literally go from start to finish, because I kept putting it off, this idea of like, I'm going to paint my board and film it, and then you end up not filming it. So yeah, the point of this video is to film it, from not trying to be perfect. So this is when the wax comb will do most of the job, right? It's done most of the work, which is cool, but it's not going to get all of it off. Now that's when this starter kit that I've included will help you. Another tip is just to get it off like that. Get most of it off, most of it off, most of it off. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. The back of it doesn't really have wax on it, so we can clean that up without the wax comb. So then you go like this. The next tool you need is steel wool, which is that stuff I showed you before. Now this stuff is bloody amazing, because People are like, steel wool, it's gonna scratch my board and all that. But you can get different grades of steel wool. So this is like a 240 grit, I think. And if it's 240 grit or more, it's fine. But anything less than 240 grit can be a little bit sharp for glass. But if you just apply this over like that, I'll try to get up close, you'll see it gets off all those last bit of wax bits. And it'll come up like it's showing, like it's getting dirtier like there. But if you go, that's like pretty much clean now. But let's give it a bit more. And hopefully you can see this in the video, because it does look like it's dirty because it catches on these little wax nibs and then it gets really dirty for a second. But if you proper apply elbow grease, this is why using a kettle or a de-waxer such as like acetone, which they do in the surf shops, or like a window cleaner, is actually really quick and fast. But like I said to you before with the boiling kettle thing, is like, do you really want to put chemicals or, you know, try that stuff on your board when I don't think it's the best. It's the fastest, but is it the best? So right now that's coming off really good. So I'll just throw that on the ground, throw them in the bin in a second. Let's go. Let's go half of this. It's coming off pretty good. You just kind of grab a good amount and then you just get right into it. I try to do half a board first, so I'm not focused on too much. It even gets off these little marks, not just wax. Wax is really hard to get off. You kind of need heaps of paper towels or like chemicals to get it off, to come off real smooth. But if you use this steel wool, I've found this to be one of the best. There's also that scour pad, the green scour pad, which I probably should show. This thing, oh, where was it? That green scour pad is also really good, which I think's in my room. But I don't think you can beat steel wool. Steel wool's the best. But as you can see, for the haters out there that think steel wool's going to scratch your board, look, it's absolutely perfect. Not scratching my board, and it's simply cleaning it and getting rid of the wax. Like, see the wax caught there? That's really hard to do, and you can kind of fold it like this, so it's completely new. So yeah, hell yeah, see how dirty that is? All you have to do is put a bit of elbow grease into it. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. How good is this? Yep. Alright, I am going to check my footage to make sure that I'm filming it correct, and then I'm going to probably do this off camera to speed it up. Otherwise this is going to take another 5 minutes cleaning that. So as you can see, board is nice and clean. It's pretty much as clean as it'll get with steel wool. You'll see some shades of steel on there, but that's okay because we still have another process like right here. It's not going to be perfect, but it's generally pretty clean. Wax is off. You can see I've got a bit of pressure dings because I've surfed it. That's what you're aiming for, is just getting majority of the wax off, because the wax is the hardest stuff to work with. So the board is pretty clean. I wouldn't want to paint it now because it's still not perfectly clean. So the reason I say perfectly clean is it needs to be clean enough that the paint's going to stick to the board. In this instance, it's fiberglass, but it could be wood, could be concrete, could be whatever. So you need to make sure it's clean. So surfboards are probably the hardest surface to work with because they're glass, and glass is non-porous and it's very hard for the paint to stick to it. And that's why we need to use the varnish at the end, which I'll show you in this video. But yeah, so it's pretty much clean. That's when the starter kit comes in handy, is we then get out one of these, we get out one of these 240 grit sandpaper blocks, which is going to do that final clean and prep. So once your board's looking pretty good, not 100%, you can start using the sandpaper block. And what you need to do is you're just going nice and light in a circular motion. Nothing crazy, because you don't want to, you know, for the surfboard shapers out there, or the people that think sanding's going to, you know, weaken your board, which as long as you do it right, which is this, using this block, which is 240, 180 grit you could probably use. Anything less than that, that's probably eating away at the resin. But this one's nice and light and fine grit. And what it's doing is it's just cleaning that surface level. So once the paint goes to it, we'll get rid of the foam after it, but once you feel it, it's nice and just, it's been really sanded and clean and smooth, which means the paint's best bet of gripping into that surface is then. Otherwise you have grit and dust and wax on top of it, so the paint's seeping into that, and then it's chance of coming off. Whereas if you get it right down to the glass, then the paint is literally sticking to the glass. And that's the point of this, is to get it to glass. Get the board so clean. Either you get your board fresh out of the shaping bay, or you do what I did, is you test it out. But look at this. So right now we've got some scuff marks. So if you go over it real lightly, that's the beauty of the sandpaper block. It gets rid of those scuff marks like you saw just then. So then definitely go down the rails as well. People forget to sand the rails, which is, you know, people love painting their rails, but they don't clean them. And people hold their rails when they duck dive, so they don't clean them, which can make your rail paint come off. So sanding. Sand the tail. And then once you get it pretty sanded, you can actually turn it around and use like this side of the sandpaper block, which is actually quite good for rails. So, you know, just use the side of it. Boom, boom, boom. And then you can use the fresh side to do the next side. And what you're doing is like you're just applying enough pressure to clean it. Nothing crazy, but you know, you want some white powder coming off, but you don't want to be like trying to get under the resin, because that's when, yeah, you're probably going to weaken the board. But you're just going nice and soft, cleaning the surface, making it nice and smooth. Nothing wrong with this at all. I've done this for a long time. Surfboard shapers have done this for a long time. So once you feel like the board is pretty smooth all over and clean, like, then you can do the other side. Give this a nice little clean. This side probably doesn't need as much because you don't get wax on it, but definitely give it one, because this like lays on your wetsuits and collects dust and Chinese wax job, so it does get a little bit of wax. So definitely give this a little bit of a clean, just enough for the paint. And then once you've got it good, that's can be ready for the bin, which you can throw there for now. maybe wear a t-shirt that you don't mind getting dirty. So all we need to do now is paper towel this off, and that's ready for painting. All right, we're still filming. So I got a rag here. This is just probably the best to get rid of that kind of foam residue that we just saw before. You want to get that off because the paint won't like that. You can use paper towels, is also really good. So yeah, just a rag or paper towels or tissues or something to just get that layer of that foam that you saw on my hand. We need that gone. So that's looking really clean. Do the same thing on the other side. Perfecto. How good. So that board is looking pretty smick and ready for painting. Cool.